Hi everyone, I'm Taylor and welcome to the Tribe Life's 30 Days of Yoga Challenge. Today's day 30. This is it. We're at the end. I'm so proud of you. Congratulations. If you're just finding this video and you're like, what's the Tribe Life? Who's Taylor? Well, welcome. I'm excited to have you here and I hope you like the class and want to start over from day one and do the whole challenge with me again. 2016 was a tough year, right? I think for the world and also for America. If you're a follower in the US, no matter who you voted for, that's your right. One thing though I think is it definitely showed our country as divided more than ever. So for today's class, our final class, I want to dedicate this to peace and unity in America and in the world, especially right now. And there's two things that have to happen, I believe, for peace and unity. A whole lot of love and a whole lot of courage. So today's class, we're going to have a lot of heart openers, opening up the heart, giving out love to the world and to ourselves. And I'm going to walk you through headstand too. So it's easier than it looks, I promise. It just takes a little courage. All right. So for today's class, you're going to need a strap, or if you have a little towel, a bath towel or something, a dish towel, anything to help you grab onto. That's all you'll need. Otherwise, roll out your mat and we will begin day 30. All right, so for day 30, we're gonna finish it just how we started, in a nice, comfortable, seated position. All right, so removing the flesh from your sits bones as you sit nice and tall, sitting with your heart over your hips, resting the palms down on your thighs. And then just close your eyes here. So close your eyes, starting to tune into your breath. So take a deep inhale through your nose, exhale out your mouth, and continue to breathe for the next minute or so. Breathing, noticing the quality of the breaths that you're taking, right? So noticing the feel of the breath, of how it feels on your nostril as you breathe in through your nose and exhale it out. Notice if you're taking shallow breaths or if you're really filling the lungs with fresh oxygen. And then tuning into your body. Noticing if you're holding any tension anywhere in particular. And also your mind. Notice what thoughts you have going on up there. Anything on repeat from day one that you've noticed. Anything that you can let go of right now. And then finally set your intention. And if you're having trouble thinking of one, maybe choose the one that I picked for today, which is peace and unity. Sending that out into the world today. So take one more inhale through your nose. Exhale out your mouth. And then you can open your eyes. So we'll come to hero's pose to start. So sitting on the ankles, you can also use a blanket or something, maybe even a small pillow underneath to prop up if this hurts you sitting back on your ankles. And then having that towel handy in case you need it. We're gonna do a shoulder opener here, right? So take that left arm, reach it back behind you, then bending the elbow. The back of that palm will come in between your shoulder blades, okay? And then you'll lift that right arm up to the sky, bending the elbow, reaching down to grab onto your fingertips, the left hand, and breathing here. So reaching to get, keep that right elbow pointing up, sitting nice and tall. If you're not able to combine, or if you're not able to hold fingers this way, take the towel. So holding that into the left hand, reaching back with the right, and then using the towel as an extension of your arms so you can feel the stretch here. All right, so that's the option there. Sitting nice and tall, breathing into the space, filling the lungs, expanding the ribs. And then releasing the arms and the hands. We'll come to the other side. So I know for me, I've done this enough to know, for whatever reason, on this other side, I can never touch my fingers. So as I work on it, I'm gonna use the towel on this side. So honoring your body, listen to it, right? So we'll take that right arm back behind, bending the elbow, bringing the back of that palm behind, in between your shoulder blades. And taking that left arm up and back and reaching down. So either holding onto a towel or onto your fingertips as you breathe, sitting nice and tall. Taking full breaths, expanding the lungs, expanding the ribs. Taking one more breath. And then removing the towel, releasing your hands. And we'll come to down dog. So planting your hands, walking the legs back, flipping the toes when you're ready. You can press the hips up and back. Coming to down dog. Walking out the dog here. Stretching out the calves. Shaking out the head. Taking one more breath. Big toes touching. Lifting that right leg up and back. Bending the knee, opening the hip here. So taking a breath, feeling the stretch on that right body, right hip. And then re-squaring the hip, stepping that right foot forward, rising up to warrior one. So rising up. Working to pull that left hip forward as you ground down through that left foot. Take a full breath. As your body gets used to this pose, warming it up, right? Moving it a little bit. And releasing the arms back behind you. Grabbing the wrists, opening up the chest here. As you inhale, lifting the chin up to the sky. And exhale, dropping the head and shoulders inside that right leg. Reaching the palms and the wrists up towards the sky. Dropping the head inside. Take a breath, pressing back firmly through that left heel. On your next inhale, pressing into the ground with that right foot, lifting back up, rising up, pulling the arms up to the sky. And then releasing the hands back down, stepping back to plank. Take a flow or press back to down dog. Take a few breaths. Inhale, lift that left leg up and back. Bending the knee, opening the hip. Take a full breath. Re-squaring the hips. Stepping forward with that left foot. Rising up to warrior one. So lifting up through the heart. Grounding through that right foot. Pulling that right hip forward. Reaching up. Breathing into that right hip. And releasing the hands behind you. Grabbing onto the wrists, lifting the chin up to the sky, opening the heart. And then exhale, releasing the head and shoulders down to the ground inside that left thigh. Reaching up through the wrists and the hands. Breathing, pressing that right heel into the ground. On your next inhale, pressing into that left foot as you rise back up, reaching your arms up to the sky, warrior one. And then releasing the hands back down, stepping back to plank. Again, yogi's choice, take a flow or press back to down dog. Bringing your big toes together, lifting that right leg up and back. Again, bending the knee, opening the hip. You can stay here, or option to flip the dog, dropping that right foot back behind you, coming to wild thing. So you're reaching forward with that right fingertip, pressing into the ground with the heels, lifting the hips. Take one more breath. And then flipping back over to down dog. Take a breath. And we'll do the other side. So lifting that left leg up and back, bending the knee, opening the hips. Stay here or flip the dog, coming to wild thing. Reaching forward through the left fingertips, pressing into the ground with the heels, lifting the hips. Take one breath. And then flipping the dog back over, coming back to down dog. Take a breath. Looking forward, walking the feet in between your hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Take a few breaths. Grabbing opposite elbows, you can rock side to side. And releasing the arms to the ground, bending the knees, lowering the hips as you rise up with the upper body, reaching up, coming all the way to stand. Exhale, hands to heart. Take a breath. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, stepping back to plank. Yogi's choice, take a flow, lifting the hips up and back, down dog. Take in 2 breaths. Bend in the knees, releasing down to the mat, child's pose. Option to bring the arms back behind you. If that feels better for you, grabbing onto your ankles, melting the forehead into the mat, breathing here. Remembering the intention you set at the beginning of practice, and noticing how your body feels now as opposed to the beginning of practice. And then rising back up. We'll come to camel pose as a big heart opener before the headstand. So starting with, we'll start kneeling. So kneeling with your hips over your knees, flipping the toes underneath, back behind you. Okay? And the first way we'll start, placing your palms on your lower back, fingers up to the sky. Okay? So pulling the elbows back as you open the chest. And then as you start to open the heart a little bit more, always reaching up first. So long spine first, sitting tall, kneeling tall, and then start to arch back a little bit. Really opening the heart. Maybe dropping the head back if that feels good. Keeping the hips over the knees as best you can. Take a full breath. And then rising back up slowly, Lowering back down to the ground for a child's pose, just for a breath. A nice counter pose. And then rise back up. We'll come to a deeper expression of this pose. So if that felt good for you, that was a challenge, stay there. Otherwise, to take it a little bit deeper, start the same way. Hips over, shoulders over hips, hips over knees, and you can flip your toes under. Okay? And then instead of bringing your hands to your lower back, maybe take that right arm up and back, placing it down on that right heel. And same thing, left arm up and back, finding that left heel. And then start to lift the chest, long spine, maybe dropping the head back if that feels good to you. Breathing into this heart, front body. Open the heart, open the chest. Breathing here. Take one more full breath. And then slowly rising up one arm and then the other, immediately pressing back to child's pose. Counter stretch, taking it easy. That's a pretty deep stretch, so we always like to move slowly in those poses. All right, so let's move on to headstand, shall we? The climax of the class. All right, so I promise it's easier than it looks. The hardest part is just getting over the fear of being upside down. So if you're not confident in this pose yet, maybe do it up against a wall and play around with it, okay? So to get into headstand, my favorite and I think the easiest way is starting with, you can start with your, placing your elbows down on the ground, okay? And your forearms down. And then making sure that they're about a forearm's distance apart. You can cross your arms like this, grabbing onto your biceps. And that's how you know that you're about the right distance apart, okay? And then you can intertwine your fingers, placing it down kind of to form a cradle to hold your head, all right? And then the way that you'll place your head, someone explained it to me where it was an inch in from your hairline. That's where you wanna place it on the ground. And then the palms will kind of cradle the top kind of back part of your head. All right, so you'll find the sweet spot. You don't want to press directly on top of your head as you go up. And you'll just play around with it. You'll figure it out as you go. So placing the head down on the ground, all right? And so one thing I want to say before we go upside down completely is your shoulders will have a tendency to go like this, right? To pinch in towards your ears to protect the neck. And again, if you're not confident in this yet, practice this first before you go upside down. You want to practice pressing the shoulders away from the ears, staying lifted. So pressing into the forearms, pressing into the, mostly the forearms as you lift up. All right, so there shouldn't be any tension or weight on your head or your neck. So just pay attention to that. And then the way I like to get into this and explain it to people is as you're lifted, right? You're lifted up off that head, your shoulders are away from your ears. Flip the toes under and lengthen the legs. So you want to get to this point first. And then instead of just kicking up, because that can put tension on your neck, you'll want to just kind of toe heel as you start to shift the hips over the shoulders. And then maybe you lift up a toe or two and you can start to lift the legs. So before you straighten the legs, making sure your shoulders are lifted up off your ears and then start to lengthen the legs. So breathing here. Lifted in the toes. And when you've had enough, slowly lowering the legs. Back down to the ground. And when you're done, come into child's pose. All right. So a few other things to call out. If you're trying headstand on your own time right now, maybe pause the video or rewatch what I did, listen to my cues, try it again. With practice, you will get this. And like I said, the hardest part is really just finding the courage to go upside down. The rest you can figure out as you go. That being said, go into this pose with caution. I don't want people getting injured. That can happen, but if you go into it smart and you know what to look for and pay attention to, you'll be fine. The other thing to think about is, and it's hard to tell when I'm upside down, I don't know if my hips were as over my shoulders as I'd like them to be, but when you get up and you're inverted, you really want to reach through the toes, keeping lifted, keeping elevated that way. That also helps you take the shoulders off of your head and your neck. I think that's it. And if you have any other questions as you're doing this, leave them down below the video. I'll be checking them and I can help you out as I go in case I missed anything. But that's the gist of it, right? Okay, so that's headstand. So if you pause the video, we're back and we will lay on our back. We'll come to one happy baby just to end the practice on a high note. So happy baby, knees by your shoulders, nice and wide, reaching your arms inside your legs, grabbing the outsides of your feet, pulling your feet and your knees down by your shoulders, maybe rocking side to side a little bit for a nice lower back release. And when you're ready, lengthening the legs out down below, straightening them out, dropping the feet away from one another. Arms by your side, palms to the sky. Take a deep inhale. Exhale out your mouth. And so we'll be here for about a minute. If you are one of those people that stops at this point, don't you dare. This is day 30. Stick with me at least just once. Give it a try. Give yourself some stillness. All right, the final class. Let's take this moment to relax together, to enjoy this. And after a minute, I'll bring us up to finish class together. All right? Slowly start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Reaching your arms up overhead, stretching from your fingertips to the tips of your toes. Taking your time, rolling onto your right side body as you pause here for a breath. And taking your time, we'll roll up to a nice, comfortable, seated position. Once you get there, take a deep inhale through your nose. Exhale out your mouth. Inhale, reaching up overhead. Exhale, hands to heart. I close every practice with a moment of gratitude. So think of one thing you're grateful for. Hold it in your heart. Thank you for practicing with me today and for the last 30 days. I am grateful for you, my friend. Namaste. Congratulations, you just finished day 30 of the 30-day challenge. That's it, the challenge, 30 days. Congratulations, I am so proud of you. I am so happy for you. I hope that you found this challenge to be a fresh start for 2017. We started this class with the intention for peace and unity, and I hope that you take these messages, these lessons you've learned on the mat the last 30 days, and bring them out into the world with you. So just because the 30-day challenge is done doesn't mean you have to stop practicing, right? The videos aren't going anywhere. They'll be up on my channel forever, so you can repeat them as often as you'd like. And also, moving forward, I'll be doing more weekly videos with classes, some tips, and also some life hacks to help you bring this practice off your mat and into your real life, right? How do you apply these lessons into real life? So it should be exciting. It's going to be fun. I'm excited. So to make sure you don't miss any of that, make sure you subscribe to the channel. You'll get notified when new stuff gets uploaded, so you won't miss anything. And trust me, you won't want to miss it. Take the lessons with you, and let's create some peace and unity this year, right? 2017 is going to be a great year. I can feel it. Namaste.